So, who exactly asked for the Club World Cup? Not the fans, not the players, maybe not even the clubs, but here we are, 2025, and FIFA's shiny, bloated Frankenstein tournament is taking not center stage according to the attendance numbers. If it's not a South American team playing, taking some kind of stage. And the thing is, no one really knows. I mean, now we know who's there, but no one knows why they're there, who they qualified. Why is Dortmund there, but not Barcelona? And yeah, we get it. It's been like a 4-year table standings kind of thing. But then why is Inter Miami there again? The rules seem as transparent as a fucked up bathroom mirror, right? Like, yeah, something. Oh, let's come up with something. So just to make sure Messi stare. Okay, the broadcast right. Well, apparently, paid by someone, country to a streaming service. But welcome to the marketing circus where global football collides with global politics, even, and where no one's really checking their receipt, right? Saudi Cup and welcome to another episode here for the Funky Pod, mindful media and communication, and definitely not mindful football because the Club World Cup is anything but a mindful tournament. Actually, I think it's more like the tournament that no one really asked for, but everybody kind of still has to play in. So let's start with the basics, right? So the Club World Cup used to be, and if you played Football Manager, you know that, used to be the sleepy end of year affair. Oh, pardon me for the cough. I hope AI cuts it out. It used to be like a European team shows up, plays once, wins, flies home. There we go. But now FIFA had other plans. Because nothing says we care about football like tripling the number of matches and forcing clubs to play another tournament in an already absurd calendar. So, tournament expanded to 32 teams. Set in the United States, the football mecca in the summer, right after all the major leagues are done. And FIFA calls it the celebration of club football. Critics call it a scheduling disaster wrapped in a monetization scheme. Where do I stand on this? Let me explain. So a few key theories, like you know what we do here in the podcast, looking into like media theories, right? One theory we discussed many times in the podcast is clear as day here. It's one of the best examples of agenda-setting theory. The FIFA isn't just creating a tournament. They're telling us this matters. Why? Because they say it does. And because they're hoping that media coverage will follow. And of course it does, right? And the second theory we discussed here on the podcast before, the media ritual theory, sporting events aren't just games. They're rituals. So FIFA's betting on that spectacle to mask all the strategic shallowness. Like, hey, you look spectacular football, let's go. Bayern Munich just won 10-0 against Auckland FC. Props to Auckland for following up, by the way. But is this really how it works? So let's look into like what's really happening, okay? Who's in? Well, who knows? So the Club World Cups, I want to call it opaque entry rules. Real Madrid, well, yeah, of course. Manchester City, yeah, of course. But what about teams from Africa, Asia, Oceania? The qualification process, yeah, pretty murky if we're gonna be generous. And yeah, point system based on past performances, but barely anyone knows about it. And even like FIFA officials seem confused at times. And so it's manufactured exclusivity, and like a tournament that you build on this, on not sporting merits, but on branding value, kind of ridiculous, right? But from a Uniprof's point of view, cool, because it gives me a chance to throw lots of theories at you. For example, in this case, we could talk about the cultural capital theory. The clubs aren't selected just for performance, clearly not. They're chosen for prestige. The FIFA wants familiar logos there, not necessarily deserving underdogs. Yeah, they wouldn't want to, I don't know, I don't follow the Premier League, but they wouldn't want to have Brighton there, for example. Of course they want Manchester City there, even if they would have sucked. Or let's stick with that example. It makes it less of a World Cup and more of like a curated ad campaign. Oh, I mean, I'm from Germany. I should take a German example. They want Dortmund there and not Freiburg, for example, right? Yeah, of course. So that's already fishy. Then we go into the broadcasting deal, or should we call it the broadcasting subsidy? So DAZN, right? Still DAZN or ZN, depending how you want to, where in the world you're from. DAZN. As a German, I would call it DAZN. I don't know, it's DAZN. I'm sorry for hating. They won the European broadcasting rights for an estimated 100 million. Didn't I? Was the a billion? Yeah, no, exactly. But here's the twist, right? It wasn't the DAZN's money. The report suggests that the Emirati government actually paid the DAZN to air the tournament in Europe. Huh. Why would a country pay a streaming service to carry the broadcast? That just kind of flips the traditional rights model on its head. Like usually broadcasters pay for the privilege. Now they're being paid to take it. Why? To buy legitimacy, to manufacture buzz, and to launder soft power through sports. So let's be honest, that's one of the main reasons we're having this tournament. And if you think about it, it makes complete sense. Football is the biggest sport in the world. If you want to use, and I know it's an overused term these days, soft power to influence cultures, what better to use than the most popular sport in the world? We talked about this in many podcast episodes before. One of the theories that we mentioned in those episodes is called the political economy of media, meaning this is not content distribution, it's influence distribution. Yeah, let's call it what it is, because as you hear from my coughing, I'm a bit sick right now, so let's keep it short. I apologize already. But it's not sports coverage, it's state-sponsored marketing. And yes, I just called out the DAZN for that. Do I have to say allegedly? But you know what I'm saying. And the thing is, yeah, global stage, but what about the local disinterest? Yeah, nobody seems to care. Like that, except when South American teams are playing, because South American fans are insane. And I love it. It's amazing. I just saw highlights from, I think, Palmeiras. Those fans are insane. It's amazing. Congratulations to the US for finally seeing how football atmosphere is supposed to be. But fans aren't buzzing around the world. Clubs are treating it like a preseason headache. Like, why do we have to be here? We want to be on holidays and we have to, like, start planning the new season. So why do we have to be here? Even the media, right, outside of a few let's call it, let's be nice, outside of a few press releases, isn't really hyped. I mean, even, let's be honest, even most media outlets are just sending their B teams there to cover it. And this tournament is an event without a story. It's a spectacle without Without narrative stakes, there's nothing on the line. And FIFA thinks they can fix it, solve it with like hashtags, LED billboards, and a few paid influencers. But the thing is, audiences don't just consume hype. They consume meaning. Leads me to one of the theories you should know. Use and gratification theory, we talk about this many a times. People engage with media that meets their emotional or informational needs. This, it's noise. No mean. Would it be cool if Auckland FC would beat Bayern Munich, would have beaten Bayern Munich? For sure, right? All 10 Auckland FC fans would have been crazy. And there's no offense to Auckland FC. I understand it's a recreational hobby club. So not trying to be mean, I'm just saying no fan of one of the big clubs, if they even have real fans, that was a big, would even care whether or not they win in this competition or not, or how far they go in this competition. Now, what really concerns me about this whole thing is, what does this tell us about the future of sport and media? Because this Club World Cup thing now feels like a stress test for football and maybe sports future. Will fans tolerate bloated calendars? Will broadcasters accept being courted with host nation or with nation subsidies? Will storyless spectacles become the new norm? And most importantly, that's the thing, will anyone dare to say no to FIFA? Because, this tournament isn't about football. It's about how media, money, and power now script the games you watch. 5 years from now, it's going to be a crazy Netflix documentary. I know I hate air quotes. I still hate air quotes, but I had to do it. So my final takeaway here is the Club World Cup is a reminder that modern sports communication isn't about clarity. Clearly, it's about control. Control of narrative, control of attention, and control of the scoreboard that exists off the pitch. So if you try, because you're a football fan and you try to keep up with the Club World Cup to some extent, because you're like, well, I'm a football fan, I should know what's happening. And my influencers who claim not to be paid by it, not to be paid for by it, sure, they're talking about it, but it still feels a bit fake. Well, you know why? Because it is. I'm sad because while I'm not the biggest football fan per se, I grew up with football and I still follow it. I still enjoy it. And I see the joy it brings to people. And now I see this, it's the exact opposite. It doesn't hurt people, but it just takes away the joy and just tries to fake everything. Pardon me. The coughing is taking over, so I have to finish that episode now. Let me know what you think about the Club World Cup. Am I too negative of an answer here right now? Let me know. Like, share, subscribe. Oh God, I'm getting tired from the coughing. So I appreciate you listening until the end. You're an OG. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. We talk soon, Sally Cup.